So in the previous video, we have learned that for sound to be produced, an object has to vibrate. Now in this video, we're going to learn how sound is produced by humans. That is, how exactly do we speak and produce sound. So see guys, this over here is our throat, inside of which there's a windpipe. Now at the top of the windpipe over here, there's something known as a voice box, also known as a larynx. So inside the voice box, there are two ligaments which are known as the vocal cords. Is it clear? I repeat, at the top of your windpipe is your voice box. The voice box has two ligaments over here. These are known as the vocal cords. So when these vocal cords vibrates, that's when we produce sound. So how exactly does it work? See, attached to these two vocal cords are muscles. So in a normal scenario, when you're breathing in and out, the muscles are relaxed, because of which the distance between the vocal cords is high, hence no sound is produced, right? So though you're breathing in and out, not much sound is produced, very minimal sound. Now, whenever you want to speak, what happens is, guys, the muscles attached to these vocal cords contract, because of which the vocal cords become stretched. That is, the gap between them reduces. I repeat, this is your normal state, right? Whenever you want to speak, the muscles attached to your vocal cords, they basically contract, because of which your vocal cords become stretched. So as you can see, the distance between them is very less. Now, as you breathe out, the air will pass through these vocal cords and vibrate them. So when the vocal cords vibrate, that's how we produce sound. Is it clear? So this is how we produce sound. I hope the concept is clear. Let's read about it. The human beings produce sound by using the voice box, which is called the larynx. Voice box or larynx is situated in our throat at the top of the windpipe or trachea, right over here. The human voice box or larynx contains two ligaments known as vocal cords. So these over here are your vocal cords. The vocal cords are like kind of strings. Just like you have strings in a guitar, that's what your vocal cords over here. Sound is produced by the vibrations of vocal cords. So to produce sound in a guitar, we plug the string vibrates, we get a sound. Similarly, when your vocal cords vibrate, sound is produced. The vocal cords are attached to muscles which change the tension, that is stretching in the cords, and the distance between the cords. So like I told you, in a normal scenario, the muscles are relaxed, the distance between the vocal cords is high. When you want to speak, then the distance between them becomes less. So see guys, this over here is an enlarged picture. Normally the muscles of vocal cords are completely relaxed, due to which the vocal cords are separated and loose, so air from the lung passes through them without producing any sound. So normally when you're sitting and not speaking, you are breathing out, but sound is not produced. Why? The distance between them is high, so the vibration is very less as you breathe out, hence sound is not produced. Thus, when we are not talking or singing, the two vocal cords are far apart with a lot of gap between them, as you can see over here. Now guys, when you want to speak, what happens? Then the muscles attached to the vocal cords get stretched, because of which the vocal cords come close to each other. Now there's a small gap between them. So now when air passes through them, it will vibrate the vocal cords, producing sound. So see, when we want to speak, the muscles of vocal cords contract, due to which the two vocal cords become stretched and close together, leaving only a narrow slit between them. So as you can see, the gap between them is now very less. The lungs pass a current of air between the two vocal cords. So as you breathe out, air passes over here. The air makes the vocal cords vibrate, and that is how we produce sound. And the vibrating vocal cords produce sound. Is it clear? Thus, when we talk or sing or make any other sound, we actually make our vocal cords vibrate. And vibrations of our vocal cords by expelled air produce vocal sounds. So remember guys, in a normal scenario, your vocal cords are relaxed, hence no sound is produced. When you want to speak or sing or make any sound, that's when your vocal cords come close to each other. So when they come close to each other, the gap between them is less. So now when air passes through them, it will vibrate them and produce a sound. That is the concept. So when we talk or sing, then the frequency of sound produced by us changes continuously. The changing frequency of sound while talking or singing are brought about by the actions of muscles attached to the vocal cords in the voice box. For example, this over here is normal frequency. When you whistle, this is a high frequency. So this is all controlled by the gap between your vocal cords, which is being controlled by the muscles attached to them. So when the muscles attached to vocal cords contract and stretch, the vocal cords become tight and thin, and a sound of high frequency is produced. So whenever you're whistling, you want a high frequency sound, this is the scenario. That is, the distance between the vocal cords is very less. On the other hand, when the muscles relax, the vocal cords become loose and thick and a sound of low frequency is produced. So normally right now when I'm speaking, my vocal cords are relaxed. But when I want to whistle, then what happens? My vocal cords become stretched. They become very close to each other and high frequency sound is produced. So low frequency sound, high frequency sound. So I hope all these points are clear. So how exactly do we produce sound? By vibrations of our vocal cord. And what is vibrating our vocal cord? Air. So whenever we are breathing out, the air is vibrating our vocal cords and accordingly we produce sound. So I hope this concept is clear. Now see guys, we can easily distinguish between a man's voice, a lady's voice and a child's voice. So how exactly do we distinguish between them? All these three produce different types of sounds. So how do they produce different types of sounds? See, the vocal cords in a man, a lady and a child are different. How? See, the size of the vocal cords in a man are around 20 millimeters, but in a woman they're only 15 millimeters, 5 mm shorter, and in a child they're around 5 to 10 millimeters. So shorter the vocal cord, the higher frequency you can produce. So because the size of vocal cords is different in all three, hence they produce different types of sounds, that is different frequencies. That is how we can easily distinguish even without seeing whether a man is speaking, a lady is speaking or a child is speaking. So see, the vocal cords of a man are about 20 millimeters long. The vocal cords of a woman are about 5 millimeters shorter than a man, so 15 millimeter. Due to shorter vocal cords, the frequency or pitch of a woman's voice is higher than that of a man. Is it clear? Small children have very short vocal cords, due to which the frequency of their voice is very, very high. Similarly, if you talk about a baby, the vocal cords are extremely small, hence whenever a baby cries, it is a very high frequency noise. Is it clear? Why? The vocal cords are very small, hence frequency is very high. That is why their voice is shrill. Is it clear? So it is due to the different frequencies or different pitch caused by the different lengths of their vocal cords that the voices of men, women and children are different. So you might get a question, why are the voices of men, women, children different? This is the answer. Because the length of their vocal cords are different, hence their frequencies are different, because of which they have different sounds. So this is how sound is produced by humans.